Welcome to the pregame show.
All of these mysteries filling our hands, begging to be solved, remembering the lives we lived before, searching for answers out in the void. We're all just restless girls and boys, looking for keys to open the door. Time's everlasting, time never lasts. Quite as long as we wanted to, watching seconds slipping from my grasp, holding you closer, holding our breath, observing the march of time as the present quickly fades into our past. Swimming in circles now and we can't get out and we can't get off this ride. A vessel is tossing in the waves. Step up the shadows, no need to hide. Our future is rising with the tide. The only thing we need to be is brave. Time's everlasting, but time never lasts. Quite as long as we wanted to, watching seconds slipping from my grasp, holding you closer, holding our breath, observing the march of time as the present quickly fades into our past.
Well, welcome into the Vikings pregame show here on the Scene Project Sports Network. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today, my good friend and my brother, Coach Cody. Welcome to the show, Coach.
How's it going? How we feeling?
Man, feeling good. Obviously, Packers week, it's always a big deal for us Vikings fans. NFC North battle. It's going to be an awesome game. We got some friends that are there. We've been sending our link out, so we might get some tap in live from the tailgate situation. We have your keys to the game coming up here on the show. But I thought it'd be fun to pick up. We're obviously, over halfway through the season now, and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on the season so far. Obviously, not going the way that us Vikings fans have wanted to so far, but just kind of getting your thoughts on the season up to this point.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, things aren't going as planned, especially when I'm getting notifications on my phone about Vikings draft position already. That's when you know things are bad. This is a must-win game, honestly. If we want to even stay in the conversation for playoffs, we got to have this one.
No, and I think some fans have kind of already moved on, right? That's why you're seeing the draft talk, and I'm not there yet. I think there's a lot to still play for, even if the playoffs are a slim chance. I think you just have to start taking it a single game at a time. And even as fans to say, hey, we have an opportunity out here to go out to perform against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. It's a good measuring stick for where this team is at now, but also where we may be headed with a young quarterback heading into next season. And I think that is kind of becoming the most important part of finishing out the remainder of the games here.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got to get JJ experience. He's played just a handful of games, couldn't practice at all last year because of the injury. And I feel like we don't have that sample size yet. We need to get it, and I'm hopeful that he'll turn things around. Like you said, we got to take it one game at a time, one play at a time. You know, it's football. Any given Sunday, crazy things can happen. Like that Colts Vikings game a couple years ago, coming back from 30+ points.
I was there for that game, Coach. That was a wild experience.
Yeah, exactly. So, just anything can happen. We can catch fire in this last couple weeks. Have a couple teams help us out with some upset victories that help us out in the standings and seating wise, but that's way far down the road right now. We got Lambeau right now.
And that's it. And I think that's what fans and a lot of fans do. There's some, a lot of groans from the fan base right now, but the expectation was set so high for this team coming out of last season that I feel like we really overachieved, right? 14 wins in a season, Sam Darnold at quarterback. It really raised the expectations on this team. And I think it was a little bit unfair coming in with a rookie quarterback and having a lot of new faces on the defense. Obviously, a couple of big names up front with Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen coming over to the team. And I think those guys have maybe underperformed a little bit for the expectation that us as fans had for them coming in because of their history. But you're talking about a couple of guys, I won't say at the tail end of their career, but definitely trending the other way now. But they come with a hefty price tag. So can you talk about maybe, and especially from a coach's perspective, expectations when you go into a new season, because every team is different. It may have the same name and the same colors that are trotting out there, but every single team, every season, and even sometimes throughout the season, there's big changes that affect that continuity and the chemistry of a football team. Can you kind of talk about a little bit about this Vikings team, maybe the expectations coming in and how you have to adjust those as you move through the season?
Well, I completely agree. It was kind of funny last year, when we found out that we were going to go with Sam Darnold, everybody instantly was like, oh, well, throw it in the towel. We're done. It's lost cause. And then, what happened. He catches fire and does what he does. We get the record that we did, and people were like kind of overreacted to it, and they were like, oh well, we got magic. KOC can work magic with anybody. And so now with JJ, we instantly are right there like, oh, we're good. KOC's got him. Like, there's more work that needs to be done, especially because of that injury, like I said. But it seems like it's been a trend with us just picking up big name players who've had success in the league, but towards the tail end of their career, but yet still giving them that big top dollar. I feel like the signings that we did have, big boys up in the middle, up front, they have been underperforming. We got to step it up. They got to step it up. So.
And that may be the biggest difference. And now obviously the quarterback play was better last year, but it's not like Darnold had an MVP season. He played within the system, and the defense last year was playing out of their minds, right? And I think that's the biggest difference between the team last year and this year's team, is that the defense, while it's been good, it's not coming up with the takeaways. And that was such a big part of the success last year, was the defense was able to take the ball away, and then Sam Darnold and the offense were able to capitalize on that. Now this season, the offense is being asked to do a lot more, and it just hasn't achieved that level. And I don't know why we would expect a rookie quarterback to walk in, and I realize he's in his second year, but he didn't play or practice at all last year, right? And that may be the biggest difference between, JJ in his second year compared to like a Mahomes in his second year, was that Mahomes sat behind a very good quarterback on a very good team and had the opportunity to practice with the second team all year, so that stepping in, and I know he got a little bit of experience towards the tail end of that season as things were kind of locked in, but he had an opportunity to be participating all the time.
Yeah. Our defense was playing stellar, and it's all about keeping that chemistry. We almost started the year with the same team, just a couple additions. I feel like the biggest mistake we made was giving up Cam Bynum. He was coming up with most of those turnovers last year. Coming in with that positive energy, that hypeness that you need, that other people feed off of. And it's something as little as that once it leaves the locker room, it can drastically change the whole dynamic of the team. And so that I wish we would have kept him. He's still doing amazing over in Indianapolis, having a good year. So I mean, it's just we got to figure out something. Our defense hasn't been as stellar this year as last. Maybe other teams are starting to catch on to Flores, but we got to just dig down deep, figure out what's wrong, and fix it. We're going up against a good Packers team. Micah Parsons, he's a beast. He's dangerous. He will be going up against Darisaw, so that'll be a good matchup. But if our line doesn't hold up, he could ruin the game for us just himself.
Well, and on that note, viewer here, Jordan Grant says, do you think the potential that our starting O-line will be starting today, meaning what we had projected as the season starters, will change how JJ is able to play? And I think it's going to have an effect. I think that's been a massive understatement of the season, was that your offensive line has been in shambles since week one. I don't think Darisaw was really ready to come back, but because the expectation had been raised, that he felt maybe a little bit of pressure to come in and to, maybe push himself a little bit, right? I know they had forecasted last year after his surgery a year to get back, and he's coming in at, the 10-month mark. And obviously he's been kind of pulling himself out of games, and there's been, a lot of starts and stops and not a lot of cohesiveness in that front, in that front five. And I think that led to a lot of our early struggles in the beginning of the season. Then obviously JJ getting hurt with that ankle injury and being out for 4 or 5 weeks. You have the London and the Ireland games thrown in there. The beginning of the season was just a gauntlet for this team. It made it really hard to hit the ground running, where I feel like last year we obviously did that, got on a roll early, and we're really chugging along. And then I don't want to say that you can coast through the end of the season, but it sets you up for a lot more late success when you have that early success. Great question, Jordan. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make a whole world of difference. You got that offensive line that's starting core. They all, got that chemistry together. They know what's up. You start to take piece by piece out of that, and, that puts a lot of pressure on JJ. He doesn't get as much time to throw. He is holding on to the ball a little longer than I would like, but, I feel like he doesn't want to make mistakes. And so he's reading the field, but just taking too long. You got to, see what you see and go with your gut and rip it.
I find myself watching the games just going, rip it. Like, I can see he's looking in the right areas. He's seeing it develop. And that's probably the biggest difference between the NFL game and the college game, is that you have that extra tick in the college game to see it and then rip it. The NFL, because the players are so high level, both in, athletic ability, but in their processing on that other side. And a lot of times you're going up against veterans on the defense that have been doing this in the NFL for a decade. They've seen it all. They've done it all. You have to anticipate where that guy is going to be because the reaction time is so fast. And I feel like at the end of the game last week, when we got in that 2-minute and we're going down for what should have been the game-winning touchdown drive, right?
Yeah.
That he was just reacting. He was playing football again. And I don't know that it's, necessarily KOC's system that, obviously demands a high level of cerebral activity from your quarterback, which is why veterans, I think, plug and play very easily. But it takes confidence to stand back there and to just rip that ball into tight windows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of baffling me as to why he doesn't have that confidence. The receivers that we have, Jefferson, or Jordan Addison, Thielen, Hawkinson, Jones out the backfield. Why wouldn't you throw it? Give them a shot. That's all I ask is just give him a shot. But he is going to be going up against players that have been in the league for a decade, veterans, been around the block. They're going to be baiting them into things, and that's where film comes in. I feel like he has to kind of get pissed. Once person gets pissed off to that point, they're just like, I'm done. And then they finally give it that extra 10% or whatever. And I feel like when he does that, the fourth quarter comebacks happen, or the flashes of great throws. He does throw fastballs all the time. He doesn't have to. He's got to learn to put some touch on them. If our wide receivers are dropping balls like Thielen and Addison and Jefferson, who are shorthanded wide receivers, it's not them, because they've been doing it for years. So it just tells you one thing: it's the heat coming off that ball. But I mean.
And do you think that's just the adrenaline is just being in that? I mean, the last week was only his 5th start, right? So I feel like, obviously he's a quarterback in the NFL. I also feel like we could give the kid a little bit of grace. He's 22 years old, just had a baby back in September, right? Like, he's got a lot on his plate, and that's not an excuse, but there is room because you see the flashes. And I come from a family of Bears fans, and I still tune in and watch the games. I don't dedicate myself to it as much as I used to, as I've kind of come over to the dark side, right? Or to the Rebel Alliance over here for some Star Wars references. And join my wife in rooting for the Vikings. I've really fallen in love with this Vikings team. But one thing that, I've obviously seen growing up a Bears fan was the quarterback carousel and having rookie quarterback after rookie quarterback, right? The Mitch Trubisky era, the Justin Fields era, and seeing that I felt like that fan base almost gave those quarterbacks too much grace at times. And this Vikings fan base, people are already calling JJ a bust. But one thing that I always listen to coaches and GMs of other teams is like, you have to grade the flashes early on with these young quarterbacks. You have to look at the points that they're doing well and giving them a little bit of time to correct the mistakes. Obviously, last week we saw a lot of balls sailing out of JJ's hand, his downfield accuracy, which is probably one of the hardest things I have to imagine in the NFL for a quarterback to do. You're launching these balls 40 yards in the air to guys coming, especially from, the college game to the NFL. The guys are so much faster on both sides of the ball. Maybe you're not expecting someone to be able to get under a ball that's launched 45 yards down the field, but they, definitely can, right? Especially when you got speed like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison out there. Do you think that we need to, I don't want to say give him a break, but do you think that there needs to be a little bit more of a bell curve when we're assessing JJ McCarthy and moving forward, especially with what he's being asked to do in this Kevin O'Connell offense?
Yeah, I feel like we got to cut him a little bit of slack. We've always wanted to draft a quarterback and to develop one, and we tend to just rent a quarterback type of thing. And now we finally have one that we've drafted and we can develop, and people just aren't patient enough. Like you said, he's 22 years old. He'll figure it out. It's only his 5th game. Like I said, only a handful of games. He's still getting his feet wet. So, he wasn't picked that high just for fun, I believe. Kwesi has been known to make a few questionable picks, but I feel confident about JJ McCarthy. I just don't know how I feel about 9.
And, my thing was, especially coming with Darnold last year, obviously you have the 14 wins and a lot of fans clamoring, why didn't we give this guy a contract, and the same thing with Kirk Cousins. Why didn't we just keep Cousins? Well, both of those guys were going to cost you a ton of money, and you were already coming into a situation where cap is an issue, and it's going to be an issue moving into next season. Obviously, there's a lot of talk on, Purple Daily, especially about, hey, we're $40 million over the cap for next year. Cuts are going to be made. People are going to be moving on. We don't necessarily have the money to go and just sign, a decent QB. We've been very fortunate, I feel like, to have gotten the play that you have out of the quarterbacks that we've had these last few seasons. But ultimately, you need a guy that can perform at the highest level in the biggest moments. And I feel like that's why you went out and drafted JJ McCarthy and were willing to deal with maybe some of the mechanical issues that you saw in the draft and counting on a coach like KOC to be able to correct some of those things. But JJ has that dog, right? That competitive spirit and that knack in the big moments to make a play. And I think you even saw that last week against the Bears, was that he showed up 2 minutes, 85 yards to go down and to score when you had to have it. JJ led you down the field, right? Now, was he good in the other 3 quarters and the other, 58 minutes of the game? No, he wasn't great. I think his hand and that hand injury affected him a little bit early. I don't think anybody's really talked about that, but I've had my hand smashed between face masks or just any kind of injury like that. It has an effect on you. And maybe until that adrenaline got going, or maybe until the adrenaline came down a little bit for JJ, which almost seems to be more of the issue, that the kid gets too amped up, that he really started to dial in. And it just seemed like the balls were coming out a little bit better when he's not thinking that I have to make the play and just goes out and plays football, is really where he tends to succeed. That's what we've been wanting, because we all saw Sam Darnold kind of piss it down his leg last year when it came down to the playoffs, right? And Sam's kind of been that guy that you see it, man, when the pressure gets on and when he gets under pressure, that he just didn't have that dog in him. And I feel like that's like the juxtaposition between last year and this year, is that you had a guy with all the experience that can play in a system and do all those things, but buckles under pressure. And then you have JJ, who's fresh and learning a system and playing in that, and coming from a Jim Harbaugh system that wasn't asking him to do a whole lot. Right. I didn't watch a lot of Michigan football, admittedly, but judging from what you see from Harbaugh now, again, back in the pro game, he hasn't deviated. It's going to be a run-heavy team. You're not going to be asked to process a lot as a QB, and KOC's system is completely different than that, right? Where it's all falling on the shoulders of the quarterback to make calls at the line and to really deliver a high level game, throw the ball 40 times a game, which I have my own thoughts on that as well,
Yeah,
especially when the stats are reflecting that we're one of the best teams in the NFL at rush yards per attempt. Let's talk about that, Coach, and getting away from the quarterback talk a little bit. Do you think we're going to see a change in KOC's offensive game plan and maybe realizing that, man, this run game is really working? Now, we saw more attempts last week, but I think you could be running the ball even more. Do you think we'll get close to 30 attempts rushing this week?
I hope. I honestly hope so. I hope Aaron Jones gets 20-25 just himself. I feel like he's going to have a breakout game, one of the best games that he's going to have this season, just because it's against the Packers. He's going to want to show them up, let them know they made a mistake. But we got to run the ball. We can't have JJ throwing 40 times. Yes, we have the receiving core that we do, but he's still a rookie. He's still got so much to learn. He's got that dog, and he'll he won't give up. And he won't be like Sam Darnold, wet in his pants. But he still got a lot to learn in the. He came back and drove down the field. Yeah, that was fine. But now he's got to learn, hey, I got to take a little bit of time off this clock. You know what I'm saying? They left way too much time. As soon as that kickoff happened, I'm like, I had a bad feeling about it.
Oh, it made me sick.
Oh, man.
It made me sick watching that. And you can see on the tape where you had guys that were trying to be a hero on that kick return. And instead of just staying in their lanes, they were flooding over to that side of the ball. I think there was 2 or 3 guys that kind of left their gap protection. And then you have a 50-some yard return. I mean, they landed in field goal range already. The game was pretty much over after that. Now, and special teams has been an issue for this Vikings team all season long. So you really hope that they clean that up. And it's not a backbreaking play like that. I think KOC was on the sidelines and he had the, "Are you kidding me?" That they caught on tape. Jordan's got another great question here. He says he's got money on the line, Coach. Does Jones get a touchdown today? Money is on the line.
I think he gets at least 2.
He gets 2.
Yeah, I think we're going to switch it up.
Do you think playing outdoors in Lambeau, obviously it's going to be a little chilly today. I don't know what the weather's like right now out there, but it's going to be cold, right? It was chilly here in South Dakota waking up this morning and getting my morning walk in. So we know it's going to be a little chilly. The ball flies a little bit differently in the cold. It's not, 70 and beautiful like US Bank is every single week.
Right.
Do you think this gives the impetus to KOC to just say, hey, we're going to trust these 2 horses we got in the backfield and really let them do the dirty work today?
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't at least try. Aaron Jones played how many years in Green Bay? He's used to that field. He called it home for a while. Jordan Mason, I'm still iffy about him, though. If he can hold on to the ball, we're good, But if, just the work up front with the offensive line, they got to win the battle up front. They got to make sure that Parsons doesn't, wreak havoc. If that happens, I mean, we'll be fine. Even if we do throw a little bit more than I would like, I am not worried about the Packers defensive backs one bit. So we'll see what happens, though. JJ McCarthy, he's got to get that ball to him. Too many batted balls down at the line, overthrowing, underthrowing. Just grip it and rip it. That's all you got to do. Just play ball. That's all I ask.
Well, and leaning on that run game will open up that play action game and hopefully, leave room for a few more, open receivers down the field, right? And I know he missed a bunch last week. We can wax about that. There was also 5 drops uncharacteristic by guys that you expect to catch the ball. And I think that puts a little more pressure on JJ too, where it's like, these guys miss the ones that they should have, but then we're really hard on JJ with the few that got away from him, right? And there's got to be a balance to this somewhere. And hopefully we see that this week and we get a return to really Vikings football, which I think should be more of, not necessarily that it's going to be 40 carries a game, but leaning on the run offense early in much the way that we did in that Bengals game, which I think is easily our best game of the season, right? The defense was playing well. We had the returns for touchdowns and flipping the field on these guys. But that was really the only time this year we've seen that, where a run heavy team capitalizing on some big play action throws and then the defense coming up with some takeaways. We need a return to that to really pull through and get a win today.
I couldn't agree more. It all comes down to execution, discipline. Like you said, with that special teams play last week, it's discipline. Stay in your lanes. No one's got to be a hero. Trust the person next to you. Everybody does their job. Everyone's going to be just fine. It's that one person that just thinks that they could be a hero. And, look what happened.
Well, Coach, I think we're going to take a short break here, give ourselves a chance to reset, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go through your keys to the game.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community.
Got an ocean full of love that's made for two. We sail upon the ocean breeze and sunshine feels like you loving me. We got a good thing going on, that's true. I'm feeling fine, fine, fine. Boy, you love on me like wine. Fill me up, let me take a sip from your loving cup. Feeling fine, 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 fine. Boy, you love on me like wine.
All right, Coach. Well, we have the keys to the game here every single week. We are going to do this. I asked you earlier this week to come up with a few things. And so we had Coach Cody's 3 keys to the game and what the Vikings must do to win. First one, control the line of scrimmage. That's a key. We kind of talked about that already moving through the first part of the show. Limit explosive plays, mainly on the defensive side of the ball, right? Keep that Jordan Love, and I'm not sure who's playing receiver for these guys anymore.
Well,
But-
yeah, exactly, because they are banged up. I don't know if that Matthew Golden, I don't know if he's going to play, and I don't know. I don't even know if Josh Jacobs is going to play. So if he doesn't play,
he was questionable, all week, and I know he got banged up last week in their game against the Giants, I do believe.
Yep.
And then winning situational football, which I think has been key. Obviously, the Vikings have severely underperformed on third down. Mackey and Judd on Purple Daily went through some crazy stats about us throwing on 3rd and short and 4th and short, and JJ McCarthy's completion percentage on those, and it hasn't been good. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. We're going to go key by key here, and I'll kind of let you just walk us through and give us some of the headlines here.
Well, yeah. Winning up front matters. You have to win in the trenches. like I said, Michael Parsons can destroy a game for the opposite team, with a matter of plays. So it's crucial that we win that battle up front. It's a cold weather, so physicality decides everything. Um, you know, if they don't have Josh Jacobs, I feel that they're going to lean more on the pass. If so, our DB's got to come to play. But yeah, if our line, offense and defensive line, come to play, put pressure on Jordan Love, and make it a little bit easier for those DBs, we might be able to make some noise. Hopefully, get a couple picks. It's been a minute, so I'd like to see that. We got to protect JJ. We got to give him time. That's a non-negotiable. And we just got to stay physical. Punch him in the mouth every play.
Yeah, and maybe if Jacobs isn't starting at running back today, you have a second string running back. Maybe we can force a fumble in this cold weather and recover some. I really think this is a time, because Hargrave and Allen both have time left on their contracts, but both could be possible cap casualties when it comes to next season. So I feel like for both of these guys, even though they're veterans, for their future with the Vikings, they have to show up and perform these last few games of the season and to really show the Minnesota front office why they should be a part of this team going forward. Now, I expect both of them to be here next season, but I'd also like to see them step up and eliminate that conversation completely. And, it looks like Grenard's not going to be in the game today. I don't know if they've made it official yet, but Dallas Turner has to show up in this game and to be a difference maker.
Yeah, Dallas Turner, I don't want to say that we gave up too much for him yet and call him a bust, but he's got to show up to play. Everybody's got to show up. This is a must win for us. This is a prove it, a show me what you got type of game, especially for those players on the last year of their contract. I feel like, if we lose this one and completely get taken out of the playoff conversation, there's going to be some talks being had within a week or two. Just because you're not playing for the playoffs, you got to start thinking about next year in the future if you're the front office, and just try to figure out like your 3 or 5 year plan, whatever it is. But things we got to show up today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People got to play. They got to be disciplined. They got to, come with that energy. Lambeau's going to be fired up. It's a rivalry game. Let's take that energy right out of the stadium.
Well, and one thing I think we've glossed over a little bit is this is a must-win for Green Bay as well. They've been underperforming to their expectations this season. They need this game just as badly to stay alive with their playoff hopes. Obviously they have a little bit more percentage than the Vikings do right now to make it and to slide into one of those wild card places. But if they lose today, their season's kind of going down the toilet too. So they need this game. Lambeau's going to be fired up. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like on the Dallas Turner conversation, because I feel like he's been improving these last few weeks. Now, obviously playing behind premier edge rushers in Grenard and playing behind, the Andrew Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel, obviously some injured, some time away this year now, but it seems like he's more comfortable on the Grenard side of the field. Do you feel that being behind such a premier edge rusher, do you feel like that's hindered his development a little bit and not getting the game reps that, a talent of his level? Yes, we're all disappointed in it, but do you feel like maybe he would be further along if he was thrust into that starting position a little bit sooner and had the demands placed on him sooner?
Yes and no. you throw him out to the wolves, he might, he's gonna sink or swim. You never know. But I do think to a certain point, it has hindered him. Kind of just like you said, not getting those reps, not kind of almost relying on the D line and the edge rushers and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't want to say it's a lack of effort, but something just isn't there. But I feel like we're this close to figuring it out and untapping that potential that he's got, and has shown a little bit. I wish nothing but the best for him, but we'll see. It all comes down to the player.
Well, and it's just, and you said it's sink or swim, right? And some players sink like a rock, but I feel like these last few weeks, Dallas has shown a couple of flashes, and obviously you demand more because of the draft capital that was given up and the position at which he was picked, that the expectations are always raised, but also you haven't been demanding a lot from him on that defensive side. And you're playing a system with Brian Flores that's different than any system in the league.
Oh yeah. I just, what we gave up for him, and where we picked him, that's always going to be coming with, expectations. He's got to be starting. He's got to be Pro Bowl, candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, something like that. But, some people, it just takes a while for them to get going. It might be, the defensive scheme. Some players just don't fit that scheme,
Nope. It's been, it's been such a weird season. And I feel like as fans, it's very hard to adjust the expectation, midway through the season when we had playoff aspirations and if not Super Bowl aspirations early on. But so much happened early in this season. Injuries. We mentioned Van Ginkel, obviously the Darisaw issues, Ryan Kelly, who I should be getting on the field today and getting that, offensive line continuity. I think that was a much bigger deal than anybody ever gave it credit for. And now Blake Brandel has been doing very well these last few weeks. And now you're kind of moving him back to that second string level this week. But you're talking about 5 guys going out there on the field today that have not played together. Do you think that's going to be a factor, good or bad, in controlling the line of scrimmage today in Green Bay?
I think it's going to be a factor, bad, in a bad way. Just not having that cohesiveness and reps together. There's so much that goes into, having rapport with your teammates, having that trust, knowing like, hey, in this certain situation, this is what we're going to do type of thing. It's tough to keep or have that and keep that when you're constantly just flipping people in and out, like a revolving door type of thing. If we can get just one set of 5 linemen, just maybe for 5 games, we could probably see, steps of improvement. But until that, it's going to be rough. No,
and that puts even more of a impetus on just run the ball, KOC. Please just hand the ball off to these 2 horses in the backfield and let them do some work, especially Aaron Jones, who returning to Lambeau is always means something extra to him. All right, Coach, we're going to move on to key number 2 here. Limiting the explosive plays and making the Packers drive the field. This is something I think that the Vikings defense has done fairly well this season and have forced, like, the defense hasn't been awful, right? The defense hasn't been bad. And I think they're up there, top 15, top half of the league in a lot of categories. We just haven't had the takeaways. So maybe the other side of this is like create an explosive play on defense as well.
Yeah, no. We need takeaways. Jordan Love, he will force that ball over,
No
and turn
doubt.
it over multiple times. So that's why, that D line, our whole defense, the linebackers, we got to bring it. If Smith comes in on a safety blitz, he's got to hit home on it. We got to get Love on the ground, at least some pressures, make him hurry, make him uncomfortable. When he's uncomfortable, he's going to make a mistake. We have to get off. We have been doing a good job getting off the field, but just getting them off the field, limiting the scores, field goals, if anything, bend don't break type of thing. We got to do it.
And I don't know if there's anything wrong with that mentality right now. The season being what it is. Is Tucker Kraft playing today? I mean, didn't he get hurt a few weeks ago after he had that massive game against the Steelers and then he's out? So I feel like he's been the only real consistent target for Jordan Love. And if he's not out there, I think that's why you've seen the struggles that you have from this Green Bay team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I feel like you already have them backed into a corner a little bit. They have themselves backed into a corner. You can't let them off the hook and give up something easy in some of these big plays, especially with Lambeau Field being what it is and this being a must-win game for them. You got to take the crowd out of it early and really just put your foot on their necks and not take it off.
Yeah, no. That crowd, the crowd noise, just, the atmosphere, it really helps. That home field advantage is no joke. So if we can silence that crowd, first drive, first couple plays even, maybe, force fumble, pick, scoop and score, something just to completely shut it down, we'll be just fine. But, if Green Bay, hits us for a couple plays, runs up 14-0 or something, it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, that's exactly what we don't want to do. I wonder,
Yeah.
So last week I know KOC took the ball to start the first half after winning the coin toss, which isn't done a lot, I feel like, in the league these days. Most teams are deferring and going on defense, taking that second half kickoff. I felt like he wanted to prove a point this week. And I think if you get the ball first, you have to find a way to score and you have to find a way to sustain a drive. It's not necessarily about going out and throwing the Hail Mary right away and having, 7 points on the board quickly. I think it's about establishing yourself and kind of setting the tone for the game.
Yeah, no. Long drives, 10 plus play drives, that's going to wear the defense down. I want that. I want us to have long sustaining drives, but they have to amount to something. We got to get something. We can't keep settling for these field goals. We got to put the ball in the end zone. How many touchdowns does JJ have? 1, 2, maybe 3?
Not enough.
Yeah, not enough at all. It's more than that, but yeah, it's not enough at all. Yeah, especially that caliber of a player, you got to feed them. But I want at least a couple shots down the field, just to open it up, just so it's not a swing pass to Aaron Jones for 2 yards that he could probably maybe bust out for 7 or 9 every once in a while, or just a short throws. Mix it up a little bit. Keep them guessing. The play action. If the running game is working and we're getting those yards per carry, that play action is going to work wonders, and we're just going to be able to open up the whole playbook from there.
There's so much we need to see from this game.
I know.
It's like you're kind of putting the whole season into a little capsule now and going, we need to see all of it happening. And we need to see growth from the quarterback. We need to see the run game really, start to exploit defenses. And I feel like you're getting all of those opportunities in one game now. And how much a win today can maybe not change the expectations for the rest of the season, but can definitely, like, we just want to feel good. It's been a couple of weeks now of bad football. I was at the Ravens game, and that was another one. I feel like we gave it away, right? Yeah. It was just like the false starts on that game were just unreal. It was, you could hear a pin drop in the stadium, right? It wasn't like it was loud at all. Now, they corrected those. You didn't have those problems, moving into this week, but now you're putting a new center out there in Ryan Kelly if he gets the start. And you worry about some of those issues because it's all cadence and timing, and maybe Ryan has a little bit different timing to his snap than Blake Brandel did. And you just so much that could go wrong, but so much that could be proven and start to give us those good feelings as Vikings fans again, moving into the rest of this season and keeping those slim playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, no. I agree with that 100%. And that leads to point number 3 for my keys. Just winning the situational football, especially in the red zone and on third down. Let's just punch it in. Points are harder to come by outdoors in November and December. So when we get scoring opportunities, we must finish. On defense, getting off the field on third down, like I said, controlling the game, and taking that energy out of the stadium. It's all the little things. The difference between the centers. There's so many little things that, like you said, could go wrong, but could go right and work for us. I'm excited for this game for sure.
It's nice to be excited about one. Obviously, we had a big NFC North showdown last week against the Chicago Bears, and again this week now going to Lambeau. Leaving Lambeau quiet to me is such a key, because that stadium can get so full of energy, right? I mean, I don't know. What's the capacity at Lambeau? It's an older stadium, right? So it's got a lot bigger. I feel like it fits a lot more. And it's just like the bench seating, right? It's not particularly comfortable out there. I've never been to a game at Lambeau Field. Have you been to Lambeau before, Coach?
I've never been to Lambeau. I actually had a friend of mine text me last night. He let me know that he was going to be driving to Lambeau last night. And had things worked out, I would have been there.
That would have been pretty cool. Maybe one day we can, I'm friends with the Viking World Order crew, and quite a few of them, a lot of them season ticket holders, and they travel with the team as well, especially when it's just a few hours away over in Green Bay. We have some of them that are at the game today and around. And as we move forward with the show, I hope we start to get a few of them that tune in live and come on with us. My wife, Danielle, commented 81,000 is the capacity at Lambeau. So you think US Bank gets loud. Now, obviously it has the roof over it, which helps. And God, there's nothing like US Bank Stadium on third and fourth downs. Now, we've seen something the last few weeks to kind of get a little bit off topic. Look at my wife, Danielle's doing a little background producing for us. Second largest stadium in the NFL as far as capacity goes. That teams are going, it seems like, hurry up on third and fourth downs. They're not allowing the crowd to get into it, right? And being there and running that play clock all the way down. So fans, when you're at US Bank now, you got to get loud on second down and maintain that because teams are starting to do that. But is there a little bit of that we can take into the stadium today to say, hey, these third downs, instead of sitting in the huddle like KOC likes to do until his microphone cuts off with the 15 seconds and getting to the line of scrimmage late, which I feel like we've been a lot better at. Early on in the season, it felt like there was a huge problem with just getting to the line with time and getting the calls in, which I feel like that's another thing we talked about, giving JJ some grace. These are all things that he was doing for the first time in these NFL stadiums as well, and the communication factors. Now, I feel like a few of those things have been ironed out now. Do you think we can see maybe the coach doing something strategy-wise to take the crowd out of it?
I think so. I think he'll change up the tempo. And especially on third down, make sure the defense is not able to substitute and take out them big boys if it's third and long for an extra DB. Just catch them off the guard. Any chance you get, I definitely would, and that's just me. But I believe KOC will show a little bit different this week.
Yeah, and he's not necessarily known for making a lot of adjustments. He's kind of a coach that, like, this is what I do. I'm going to do what I do. But also seeing the success of JJ in the 2-minute offense this year, in both Chicago games, really, you kind of had it in spades. But does that give you the impetus to maybe see them go, if not full hurry up, to kind of do a muddle huddle and to keep the pace moving today? Because that seems to be what kind of shuts JJ's brain off and turns the football instincts on.
Yeah, no, you got to keep that momentum going. If you're marching down that field, you're the last thing you want to do is take time away from that and lose all that momentum. If things are rolling for you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm a firm believer in that. Just try it. It won't hurt to try it one series or something. It doesn't even have to be early in the game. Hopefully not late in the game, but just show us a little different.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
Well, yeah, run the ball. Aaron Jones will get you the yards you need. I guarantee it this week.
It was crazy. And I listened to Purple Daily episodes all week long, and they kept going back to, I think we're 8th in the league in rushing yards per attempt. Now, granted, that's probably because we haven't had the attempts that other teams have had. But when we run the ball, we have success. It seems like these guys are breaking off 4 or 5 yards per play. We just can't get KOC to stay committed to it. And I really hope that changes today. And I hope that we see some success from it. And maybe that spurs us on to a win streak. Wow, that would be something.
Right. No, and it's always going to be tough when you have as many wide receivers that can impact the game like we do. There's only one ball to go around, and you got to at least try to get these guys their touches. But we got to get back to what we have been, and that's just that running team. Run to open up the pass. Jefferson, he's just not showing up, and he's not really getting the chances to. And I believe that, if that running game gets going, those DBs and the linebackers and safeties will start creeping up. You hit them with the play action, get it into their hands. You got playmakers, you got to get the ball in their hands.
There's been a lot of talk this week about, people walking on eggshells around the practice facility, around JJ, both Justin Jefferson and McCarthy. And, JJ kind of came out, Jets rather, came out in support of McCarthy and, essentially saying, he's our guy. And I've been the one calling him and kind of reassuring him of these things and letting him know that he's got his back. Now, obviously, a player of Jefferson's caliber is going to be frustrated when he's not getting the ball or the team's just not playing well. Balls are sailing, 20 feet over his head. That was a bad one. And I think we're all focusing in on that, a couple of those plays maybe a little too closely. but they're going to be frustrating. And then you're trying to read, between the lines. You're seeing them. I mean, the cameras are everywhere in these NFL stadiums, and obviously it's going to be fixed on Jets all the time, getting his reactions to things. But I think he said a lot of the right things this week to the media and privately in some of the interviews that he's done. Do you feel like their relationship, because they didn't get the time this season, on the field, that we have a chance in these last few games for them to really solidify that relationship moving towards the future of this team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to have that rhythm that between the quarterback and wide receiver. You got to have X amount of reps to know, hey, with this coverage, he's going to break it off here. I'm going to throw it right here. Just a repetition. You got to have it. And the fact that he's hurt, he had no chance. So I just think that there's at least a week or two of just a healthy or JJ McCarthy, working with JJ, maybe even working a little bit more, just to get that rhythm. If we can keep number 9 healthy, maybe some of that'll keep progressing, but like I said, it starts with that O-line. We need to protect him. He's just a kid, really.
And I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, he wasn't sacked last week against the Bears.
Correct. Yep.
And I don't feel so. I watched quite a bit of Caleb Williams play last year, watching Bears games and still kind of tuning in. I try to keep up a little bit with the NFC North games, even though I'm rooting for the Vikings now. I like to see what the competition's doing and keep an eye on those. What JJ McCarthy doesn't do is he doesn't get those happy feet and leave the pocket early. He's staying in the pocket. He's reading these defenses. He's just missing a few throws, right? And he's being asked to do a lot. I hope this week is we see it all come together. We see the running game married with the pass game, and JJ may be taking a touch off of these throws and connecting with these receivers and really bringing this, this offensive game plan together for really the first time all season, and to watch it firing on all cylinders. So one other thing that I asked you to do for me this week was to focus, and to bring our attention to one player that really needs to show up. And speaking of wide receivers, and we haven't really brought him up on the show much today, but your player to watch today was Jordan Addison. Tell us what Addison needs to do today to be a factor in this game.
Well, I mean, Justin Jefferson just being on the field is gonna get a lot of attention and command a lot of attention. Double teams, triple teams, brackets, whatever you want. Whatever you can think of, they'll show it to him. When that does happen, there's gonna be wide receivers open. Addison has to create separation. He has to come down with these catches. He had a couple drops. But he also will make some spectacular catches. And so, his in a cold weather game where separation is everything, his route running and the ability to create space can be the spark the offense needs. One play can flip the momentum and change the whole trajectory of the game. And I believe that Addison will be that player. I think that, the Vikings are going to score at least 2-3 touchdowns. Like I said, a couple running from Aaron Jones. And then I think that this guy, Jordan Addison, is going to be on the reception and receiving end of a touchdown.
So you think we're going to get some points on the board this game?
I do. It's a rivalry game. It just adds that extra, motivation, gets everybody hyped. I think they're going to come out and play and just want to prove everybody wrong, prove that, we just ran into a couple weeks and had slump weeks, prove to people that those teams didn't beat us, that we lost the game, This is a prove-it game. I can't say it enough. We gotta have an urgency with trying to win these games and put teams away and keep the lead.
Yeah, playing with urgency, I think, is a big one too. Coming out right away, getting on top of this, and really putting Green Bay on their heels, I think, is so important right now. And we just have to play a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
We just absolutely have to play a complete game today. Everybody has to show up. And, that includes the coach, right? Like, I think there's a lot on KOC in this game to make the adjustments that we've been talking about on the show.
Yeah. I mean, you go from Cousins and the year we had with him, and then Sam Darnold, kind of get complacent, and you're like, oh, it's sweet over here, and then you have a new quarterback coming in, a younger one, and there's a growing process. So we get to see how KOC is going to adapt to that and evolve from it.
Trying to see if we can't get fans to come on and share their predictions with us as well. But let's get into yours, Coach. I know you sent it to me, but I lost it. So I'm going to ask you to just give us your prediction for the game live today. You've mentioned a lot of points already. Are we going to be able to keep Green Bay off the board?
Yeah, my prediction, Vikings win 27-20. I feel like, we'll win the battle up front and make, on the offense and defensive side, we'll make Jordan Love uncomfortable, making him make a couple mistakes. Our offense is going to hit a couple explosive plays. Our defense will come away with at least a takeover. And we'll close it out with a long physical drive in the fourth quarter, just running that clock. We won't make the same mistake we did last week.
Yeah, I don't know. Asking this team to put up 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals, 5 scoring drives, we just haven't seen it. And I think our defense can show up today. So I think I'm going to go more along the lines of like 20-18. Hold Green Bay to a big old handful of, a few field goals, maybe a missed 2-point conversion or something. I don't know how they're going to get to that, but I think it's going to be another kind of low scoring-ish game. And, we get a couple of touchdowns. Maybe we get a rushing touchdown and JJ finally comes down with one, and we're able to just slow the game down. I would like to see less possessions, right? Some long sustained drives, and even with the defense, like I don't mind if Green Bay sustains a couple of drives, but you get them down into the red area and you're able to get the stops that you need on third down. Looking for Dallas Turner to have a big day, maybe get a couple of sacks. I think that would be really good for his confidence. And, you mentioned Jordan Love. He'll put the ball up there, right? We need to come down with an interception, at least one today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can do that.
Yeah, no, at least. And we're more than capable. Isaiah Rodgers, he looked like the best thing since, whatever, but we signed him, and then he had that amazing game to start the season. And I can't pick him out of a 2-person lineup standing next to me. He's been
pretty quiet since then. Now, is that, and you're a defensive coach, and we didn't really mention this off the top, but you're a defensive coach. You've been working in arena league ball and some lower levels of that, but from a defensive coach's standpoint, now it's not up to just one player, right? You have to have pressure up front to force the quarterback into maybe an uncomfortable throw or forcing into a small window to create the opportunities for the defensive backs. Do you feel that it's been the lack of pressure that's kind of leaving the defensive backs out to dry a little bit, and why we haven't been seeing that pressure? Because I don't feel like we've been blitzing this year like we did last year either, and creating that pressure from bringing extra.
Yeah, no, it does seem like we haven't been blitzing as much. I don't know. The defensive line, we have to get pressured. Linebackers too. When we do send blitz, we have to get hit home with them. We can't have our defensive backs trying to cover for 5+ seconds. That's just never going to be a good recipe for success. Ultimately, I can want and wish all these things, but just come out with a W at the end. That's all I want. It's just a W. Feeling like Jameis Winston over here.
Right. And I think that's, we talked a lot about adjusting expectations in this episode, and just win one. Let's not think about the playoffs. Let's not even think about next week. Let's just go out there. Let's win the first half, right? And then we'll take it from there and go just win a ball game, play good football, and go win a ball game today and get those good juices flowing again so that we can go into the Thanksgiving holiday with a little bit of holiday cheer, if you will, right? Like, we just want to finish off the last month of the season and to be able to continue to maintain some positivity about this team. Because I feel like if they go on and win, they go on and lose 5 in a row or something, this fan base is going to absolutely turn on this team, on the front office, on JJ McCarthy. And it could be a really long off season where if we go out and win some of these games, say we go, 5-2, I think there's 7 games left of the season right now, 5-2 to finish, miss the playoffs, but you've seen something. If you won 5 of these remaining games, you've seen a little something from this team, and probably from JJ McCarthy, to have a little bit of confidence moving into the offseason to say, well, obviously we have some pieces that need to be fixed, but we can have some expectations set for next year of once again making the playoffs and hopefully going on to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, because after this year, they're going to start talking about whether or not we're going to pick up that 5th-year option. So, there's a lot of important things, riding on these next few weeks. But as long as you can end on a high note, like you said, bust out a couple win streak, or a 3-game win streak, just getting a win streak in general, that can make a load of difference, build confidence, build momentum leading into the next year, and just the belief. I think, once things start to go south, everyone just gives up faith right away. We should have known that it was going to be a learning process, and he would have that learning curve. But yeah, I mean, let's just win a couple games. Let's keep him healthy for the rest of the year. That way he can get these reps. And yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But I don't even want to think that far. I don't even want to think that negative, because we're going to get that dub today. 27-20.
Do you think, Coach, that the expectations of a lot of fans this year of, repeating the double-digit wins of last year, and do you feel like the expectations were a little bit too high and weren't really warranted, given that you were starting, because we knew early on that JJ McCarthy was going to be the starting quarterback of this team. Now, a lot of fans probably wanted you to hang on to Daniel Jones, or to, we had some crazy, I can't even remember all the quarterbacks that went through at camp There was a lot of names being thrown around, and then you end up at the last minute picking up Carson Wentz, who, ends up playing in 5 games until his shoulder falls off. And, there's been so much turmoil in the early part of that season. And now you've kind of turned the page on that early one. This middle part of the season has seen a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, beating Detroit, once again, the expectations, I feel like, are through the roof. Is that typical? I'm a fairly new Vikings fan. Is that typical of this fan base to be like, it's either the highest of the highs or the lowest of the lows, and it feels like you can oscillate between those two week to week?
Yes, not even just week to week, quarter to quarter, play to play. Honestly, just like last week, we scored that touchdown. Super Bowl, baby. You know what I'm saying? Kick off the next play. Well, what draft pick do we got? That's exactly what it is. It's always been that way. It's all or nothing, which, I mean, I like it, but it takes a lot to be a Viking fan and to stay a Viking fan.
Well, and that's why I was so excited to start this show and really digging into the pregame show and having a little bit of a tailgate-ish vibes, right? Where at the end of the day, yes, you coach football, but we're not trying to bring you the in-depth analysis of every play. We're trying to give you a little bit of the fan perspective and, to show that and to really focus on the fans. So now talking directly to our fans that have been tuning in with us today. This is our first time. We really decided to do this like on Wednesday. So we threw it together. We didn't have a ton of time to promote this, but if you enjoyed the show today, give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channels, or follow us on, the Facebook feeds, wherever you found us. We want to be able to bring you in on the show and to let you voice your opinions and to build a platform that's really for the fans, by fans ourselves. Obviously my background as an award-winning podcaster, I bring the hosting to it, but I'm not a huge football guy. I'm a fan of the team, but I'm not necessarily trying to get into the weeds on stats and projections, but I'm digging into the feelings of what it is, and also supporting some really great causes and some awesome people. Obviously, I'm friends with the Viking World Order Superfan group, Sir Death, and his amazing tailgate experience. I want to use this platform to highlight those incredible people and the good that they're doing out there in the world as well. Coach, speaking of expectations, what are your expectations, not for the team now, but for what we're building here with this show?
Well, I mean, I feel like people need just a show or a place to come and just, if they're getting ready for the game or something like that, and just want something in the background, they can hear us. We're not going to be, like you said, deep diving, breaking down every detail, just going deep with the analysis, just because we want this to be, like you said, a tailgate. Everybody welcome, and just talking football, talking life. We'll we might get a little deep with it, but it's just low key, hanging out, just a place for you guys. Every fan. I mean, there's not really a pregame show podcast like this. So, when you brought it up, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's tap in. That's a market we need to tap into. So.
Well, that's what I love about you, Coach. You're not shy about, seeing something that's needed and just going and doing it. And I think that's what has always attracted me to you with your time with the St. Paul Bears and everything that you built over there. And now moving on to your new position with the Wyoming Cavalry. Can you talk a little bit about your new football team and the opportunities that you're giving to other young men in football now?
Yeah. This will be my first year moving up to the AIF. I'm going to be assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Wyoming Cavalry. I'm extremely blessed, and I'm just excited and grateful to be able to um, give these players an opportunity to further their career. Whether they want to use this as a stepping stone to move up even further, or if they just want to, they got a couple years left, they want to see what they got and give it one more ride. But it's just uh, giving these players an opportunity, getting them noticed. Um, you know, Nothing makes me more happier than seeing one of my players moving up. I just had my center for the St. Paul Bears, Thaddeus Tolliver, moving up to the AF1, playing in Oregon. So that's huge. He's going to be on TV and everything, and that just is watching the growth too. Um, yeah, there's a lot of memories and stuff that I'm going to take with me forever. And that's what it's all about. Just giving back and trying to make players, the best that they can be and, reap the rewards for their hard work.
You know what? We'll even let opposing fans dip in here too. My friend Garrett Schaefer tuning in, threw up the Go Pack Go. You know what?
I was gonna say, I don't want to hear that.
It's about football. We'll give him a little bit of play. I don't mind bringing him in here. Garrett, if you're watching, brother, I just sent you a link on Messenger. We'll let you come in here and give us your prediction live on the show if you want to. We want it to be that. And I think that's what I took away from the Viking World Order tailgate. We went up for the whiteout game last year, which was obviously against the Bears, and my ties to that fan base still, but seeing how well that they treated all the fans, right? At the end of the day, it's about football. It's about family. Yes, we want our team to win. And of course, we, that, oh, damn, but it's about enjoying our company with each other and having some smack to talk. I think I kind of ruined football for my wife, Danielle, a little bit when I started to root for the Vikings because she couldn't talk all that smack to me a couple of times a year and to get in my face. But I've really been a fan of this Vikings team. For the last 7-8 years, it's just, those 2 times a year they played the Bears that maybe I rooted for the other team. And now I've completely left that fan base after I watched that team quit. And, obviously they're doing better this year, but you don't get that with this Vikings team. And while granted, there are some fans that have already given up on McCarthy and are calling him a bust, that we have a lot of fans that are ride or die with this team. You're talking about a franchise that still has yet to win their first Super Bowl. And I think with this, you definitely feel like you left one on the table last year, right? You definitely, the 14 wins, you get the bye in the first round, and then you get there and you kind of just crap the bed. And to watch all those good feelings of a double-digit win season kind of fizzle out and fade away, that you want to awesome. Yeah. We'll get you out of here soon, Coach. I just saw your message. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being on with us. I'm going to roll some footage at the end of the show. I'll let you go, Coach. I wanted to showcase the Viking World Order tailgate that I went to a few weeks ago at the Ravens game, though, since I have the platform and we got some people tuning in. We got about 37 minutes before kickoff now. I really want to thank you, Coach, for sharing your time with us and for giving us some of these football insights that you've brought to the table.
Yeah, no, thank you. Like I said, when you presented the opportunity, it was a no-brainer. Decision made just like that. I have so much respect for you, and we got that vibe. This is amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. As we continue these, we're just gonna get more viewers joining in, and a lot more doors to open.
Yep, I've already been in talks with the VWO tailgate about possibly coming and doing one of these live at the tailgate. We'll get these Packers again to finish the season. So I got that date circled right now. Let's see if we can pull it all together. I think we proved a point with the show today, though, that we have something, right? And it's going to fill a need. And as we get out there, we do it more. We're going to improve as hosts, and we're going to continue to improve, hopefully, as a football team for the rest of the year as well. Coach, I'm going to let you get out of here. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And we'll see you next week. Skol Vikings.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you next week. Can't wait. Skol Vikings. Let's get that win.
Everybody else, stick around. I'm going to play some footage from the Viking World Order tailgate hosted by Sir Death at the game a few weeks ago. It's about a half-hour long video, so we're going to let that run right up to game time. I hope you guys have had a great time tuning in with us today and being a part of this. This is really built for the fans. We want to give you an opportunity to comment. If you're on the YouTube channel, we can see your comments and we'll feature them on the show. This is brand new. We appreciate what this Vikings fan base has done for us at the Scene Project Sports Network. Want to shout out the Viking World Order crew for just being very supportive of me and my new fandom and allowing me to be a part of what they're building as well. So really want to just take a few minutes to showcase them and what they bring to the table, and enjoy this presentation of the Viking World Order tailgate. This is from a few weeks ago at the Ravens game. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in with us. I really appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week, 2 hours before game time here on the Scene Project Sports Network. And Skol Vikings. All right, we are walking into the Vikings World Order tailgate here, presented by Experience Hospitality. This is going to be a great time, y'all. Flip the camera around and check this out. Great vibes here, always. We got former players stopping through all the time. A bunch of great people. The Viking World Order are here. Obviously, we have Sir Death, Darth Viking I've seen around. Lady Persia's painting faces in the tent. Awesome vibe down here. I absolutely love these people and these parties that they put on. So it's about 9:15 here in the morning right now. Already a lot of people here milling out. This place will continue to fill up until game time when everyone heads over to US Bank. Look at the location of this place. Look at this. I mean, we are a block from the entrance to the stadium. So as soon as it is up and ready and open, we will be making our way over there as well. A great day here. I'm gonna flip the camera back around and take you guys through and show you some of the amazing people that are here. Awesome. Everybody staying warm? Everybody's dressed up. We got buzz balls. We are good to go, huh?
Oh, nice.
Just want to let everybody know we will have a red carpet rollout for veterans in 15 minutes at 9:30. Thank you.
Awesome. You heard it here. Red carpet rollout for our veterans. We appreciate our veterans. This is a military appreciation game with Veterans Day being in just a few days. So really, really stoked to see everybody. I love the way the NFL supports our veterans, and you know it's obviously.
I love this. I was looking at you online. I'm like, I wish I had that. I know. Well, yeah.
Some great traditions here. Love the family that is the Viking World Order.
Little Viking
We got the Raven Shredder here. Yes, sir.
since I was 18 years old. Season ticket holder since 2009. We're gonna get things set up. It's a little cold. It is a little cold, yeah, and I'm worried. I think I have on too many layers once I get in there.
Awesome. Get some great wares here. This man's at every single game. He follows the Viking World Order around. Some awesome, awesome custom pieces. All kinds of great stuff. Handmade. Incredible.
I was in here talking
Man,
for a little
they're
bit.
so cool.
But yeah, I'll give you a call, and I'm gonna
Unbelievable.
order one of these
Handmade,
cups.
just
I'm gonna order a drinking one.
every single one's a custom, one of one, right? Like it's a whole different setup. We were here for the Whiteout game last year, and these are all new ones all the time. I don't remember him having any of the like male vests before. Those are badass. Well, he might have been sold out already too. You never know. I imagine those take quite a while to make. Don't slap those together overnight. All right, check out Steiner.com. A great part of the Vikings World Order tailgate is all the people around the tailgate. It's the family. We continue to fill in here, and we're going to do a red carpet rollout in about 15 minutes, so I'll be staying live for all of that. Yeah, great times here. So cool to be a part of this and to have an invitation to come and take part and to capture these moments. I'm truly appreciative to the Viking World Order crew. And yeah, look forward to doing a lot more of this with everybody in the future. So many friends that we made here last year, here again. And it's really it's just a fun time. It's a great time out here. Still don't know if we're going to make it into the game or not. Looking forward to it if we do. But for me, it was really about just capturing this vibe with everyone and showing this to all of our fans and friends and what it is really here. Yes, it's about football, but it's about family. And I think that's what's so important to me to capture, and especially on Military Appreciation Day, to be able to do this is just a really incredible experience for me.
We have some of our OCVS coasters with us, so be looking to spread a few of those around with everybody. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to stay live here today because I don't know how long Facebook is going to let me continue to do this, but yeah, we're live here checking it out. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful setup here. Beautiful setup. All right, I'm going to turn it around. You guys can watch. Awesome. Got our coasters out here. I'm actually going to keep one of those in my pocket, a couple of them, for some friends. Got all kinds of good eats here. Chili, chicken wings. How you guys doing? Fantastic. Ooh, we got some good cornbread there too to go along with it. Fantastic. Nobody parties like the Viking World Order, that's for sure. Man, the smells here. Incredible. Oh man, those chicken wings smell delicious. Hell yeah.
You looking for me?
Got to get it stretched out at the tailgate so you're ready in the stadium, huh? You don't want to pull a peck when you're in there. Awesome. Well, we got the veteran red carpet. It's going to be rolling here in about 5 minutes. We're going to stay live right here on the Facebook page. I'm doing good. Viking weather, huh?
Back when they were playing over at Minnesota Stadium, 17 below.
Sounds like South Dakota weather.
Beer froze in your hands.
Had to have hand warmers to keep the beers above freezing. I love it.
The stadium was aluminum.
Right, so it's just frozen. That's a tough one. That's a tough look.
I think that was against the Jets.
Yeah, I bet they weren't too excited about that. Really looking forward to this veteran red carpet rollout. That's really cool. Very cool. We were at the whiteout game last season for Monday Night Football. That was pretty incredible experience. Our first time meeting the Viking World Order, and yeah, just became friends with everybody online ever since, and amazing vibe. What a great family to be a part of. I have a award-winning podcast called The Scene Project. A division of that is the Scene Project Sports Network. So kind of out here covering it for the Sports Network today, and going live on our Facebook a little bit and capturing some of the vibe, and yeah, put together a nice little promo video to show everybody what it really means, right? Yeah, it's about football. Yeah, we're drinking beers, but it's about family, man. And the VWO perfectly exemplifies what football and family means. So really happy. I just happened to be in town playing some other shows, and I kind of planned it around here. I knew there was a home game, so a little bit of dirty work in there, but really excited to be here. I also work with a nonprofit called Operation Combating Veteran Suicide. So to be here specifically, knowing it was the Veteran Appreciation Game, yeah, hoping, I didn't know exactly what they had going on, but I assumed that VWO would have some kind of veteran thing going on. So yeah, really happy to be here, capture this moment, and yeah, share it with our fans back in South Dakota and around the world. So. Oh, awesome. Bubba, Startz. Nice to meet you. I live down in Tyndall.
Okay.
Yep.
That was part of it. I worked for Dr. North Equipment. That was
Okay.
part of my territory.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of the gas station though, but I retired in 2000.
Yeah, so the big one down there is Frank's Trading Post.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Yes, sir. Awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing for me is that, you know, there's a lot of South Dakotans that are Vikings fans. So being able to come up here, you know, a lot of our fans obviously are friends of mine. I'm live on my Facebook right now where, you know, several thousand people are watching, you know, seeing the replays mostly. Not necessarily live with us right now, but yeah, to show them what you can see up here. I know a lot of people come up for games, and really want them to, if they do come to a game, come to this tailgate, right? Come meet some more family in here and to be part of this scene. And, you know, obviously Sir Death has a huge following, and but this is special. This is really special, and I'm just happy to be here and to share in the experience.
My history starts with the very first game in Sioux Falls.
Really?
August 5th, 1961.
Really?
And that's how I got, I was 11 years old.
Yeah. I didn't realize they had played a game in Sioux Falls ever. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Howard Woodsfield played the Dallas Cowboys.
No kidding. I did not know that.
So
Very
anyway,
cool.
At that time, I had a decision. I could be a Dallas fan or a Vikings fan.
Right.
And my kids said,
Dallas might have won a few more Super Bowls, but this one's easier to get to, right?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
That's fantastic. What was your name?
Donovan Cost.
Donovan Cost. Oh, Bubba Startz. Nice to meet you.
Oh, great turnout. So.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
Started off with a Facebook page. We are Viking fans.
Really?
And then it morphed into this.
Incredible. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great vibe. I love what you know, VWO represents, and just the like I said, the family nature of it's just too cool.
Well, nice meeting you.
You too. Pleasure.
All of our veterans that are getting honored today, go ahead and make your way over toward your.
Are you selling the patches?
Get things rolling as soon as we can get everybody assembled. Thank you.
Are you selling the patches too? Fundraiser? $10? Yeah, I love it. So I work with a nonprofit, Operation Combating Veteran Suicide. I set some of our coasters on the table there as well. I would love to buy one of those. My money's in my pocket, but you just have a couple left. Can I take one from you? Here. Awesome. My hands are so cold. Do you have change? Actually, just take a 20. Yeah, I'll take 2. Yeah. We'll find somewhere to put them. You can just take it all. I can't feel my fingers. Awesome. What's your name? Laurel. Thank you. Lady Rel, she has these awesome Lady Legion patches. We bought a couple here to support the red carpet rollout for veterans here. We're at the VWO tailgate. Incredible, guys. We just love it so much. Anything we can do to support our veterans, obviously. And I love what the VWO does for all of this. I made it as hard as possible for you. It's so I don't lose it.
I know, no, I get it. I've never come to the
Awesome.
Stadium without losing something. I lost my driver's license.
I'm trying really hard not to today.
Debit card once, I lost a credit card in there.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm glad I caught you before that. I'm Bubba Startz. We have an award-winning podcast called The Scene Projects that we're here covering the event with. So awesome. Yeah, we're going to capture the moment here. So.
I call bullshit!
All right, this is the red carpet rollout for our veterans here. It's the Military Appreciation Day, Veterans Day coming up in just a few days. Operation Combating Veteran Suicide posters. Honoring our veterans here today. An incredible experience here.
Why you gonna go to this guy here? I'm a poor Indian.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to start this ceremony in about 3 minutes. Thank you.
She's one of my closer friends.
Now that you wobbled always just
Yeah, DeSantos, I am, man. Come see me at the fashion show, Smoking on the Runway tonight, 4 o'clock, over at the Hook and Ladder. I'll be here at the tailgate, right in the shadow of U.S. Bank until the game, and then we'll see if I hit the game or not. This is the red carpet rollout for our veterans, members of the Viking World Order. Really awesome vibe here. I appreciate being a part of this and getting to capture these moments with everybody. It's a great vibe out here today. It's been pretty incredible.
Come on. You got it. That's a good They are. I mean, I've had some
red carpet rollout. We're here to honor some veterans today. Veterans, who are they? Fathers, sons, sisters, brothers, mothers, neighbors. Veterans come from all walks of life, race, religions, and nationality. Many have varied reasons for serving, as varied as the sands on the seashore, yet all chose to be a part of something bigger than themselves and basically write a blank check to the nation they love, up to and including, as Abraham Lincoln so eloquently stated, the last measure of devotion. Why should we honor veterans? Firstly, it's the right thing to do, and secondly, not all vets were honored in the history of this nation. During the Vietnam War, approximately 2.7 million men and women served. Over 58,000
I was protecting it.
Many of them were not welcomed when they came home. Many of them had to take off their uniforms in airport bathrooms. They faced societal anger from a generation that was unable to, at that time, separate the war from the war fighters, and they suffered in silence. For all Vietnam vets here, including the old man from the Viking World Order, if you've never heard publicly,
I don't think there's going to be much you can do about that without blowing out everybody up front.
You won the battles you were asked to fight, and may we all resolve today to never treat our generation of veterans like the Vietnam veterans were treated. Thank you. It is said that freedom isn't free, and above the entrance of every VA hospital it says the price of freedom is visible here. However, not all rules are visible. For each veteran, the Bears have been based on their unique experience of loss, sacrifice, trauma, and service. It's their burden to bear, and they bear it. Silently, stoically, until they no longer can. Some reach out for help, others don't, and that's why we're here. We're here to honor these vets. There's a number, 22 a day. 22 a day is average veteran suicides in the United States. 1 a day is a tragedy, 22 a day is a disaster. However, my message today is a message of hope. The hope for a future where we don't have to live like this. Today we have assembled as human beings who are united by a common cause, our love of football and of our respective teams. But we are also united in our support for those who have enabled us to enjoy these luxury items like a tailgate setup, like game tickets, by their service, sacrifice, and efforts to keep us free. So we pause today to recognize them for their outstanding service. For all veterans who may be bearing a burden today, know this, you're not alone. And these people gathered here today are here because they care about you, your service, and your well-being. Today, we specifically honor Sergeant Promotable Retired Jason Weedberg, U.S. Army.
Yeah!
Staff Sergeant and Drill Sergeant Eric Gurecki, retired U.S. Army.
Yeah!
Sergeant First Class retired Ron Latson, U.S. Army.
Yo!
Chief Warrant Officer Rick Conklin, U.S. Army.
Yo!
Corporal David Henry, United States Marine Corps. Happy birthday, Marine.
Yo!
And Specialist Ryan Knaus, U.S. Army.
Yeah!
We also posthumously are honoring Staff Sergeant Ralph S. Guck, killed in action, Vietnam. For these people and for all of our veterans here today, we appreciate you, we support you, and we love you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. I now ask that everyone stand and face the flag. Today's national anthem is going to be performed by Miss Cheryl Pendleton.
Yay!
All right.
Just a reminder to please remove your hats.
By the dawn's light, once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
give us some closing comments. The man who made all of this possible, put all this together, and nobody works harder than Rich Cope. You guys know Rich. Here you go, Rich.
I didn't work as hard as half of you guys, so I just want to thank the veterans again for the service and everybody that makes this happen. This is the third year, and everyone rocks for everything they did, and especially the vets for what they did for us to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah! Awesome job, guys. That was incredible. All right, guys, I'm going to take a little break off the live. We're going to continue to capture stuff here. I was really happy to share that moment with everyone and to be a small part of this. I'm going to jump down off the truck. Incredible vibe here. Really happy that I was able to come and participate on for military appreciation game here. So love our veterans. And we got our Operation Combating Veteran Suicide stuff out there on the first. So incredible. I want to send a special thank you to all of our veterans that are watching. And thank you for your service. And Skol Vikings.
SPSN.